what, 2 years ago? Oh, okay.
She's not around much anymore, but.
Oh, all right. Oh,
Cool.
Nice to meet you.
No, nice to meet you.
All right, so we are going to get started. Welcome to the Town of Brunsonville Planning Board for Thursday, November 20th. The agenda for tonight's meeting is approval of the October 2nd, 16th, and November 6th meeting minutes. On the agenda also tonight is the case special use permit public hearing, the Centerline Communications special use permit first meeting, and then our motion to adjourn the meeting. So I will now accept a motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 2nd. Motion by Carol,
Second?
second by Brad. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. And I believe Dorothea and Laura, you both abstain, right, from October 2nd? All right, I will now accept a motion for the October 16th meeting minutes.
Make a motion.
Motion by Carol, second
Second?
by Brad. All in favor? Aye. And then
Abstain.
Dominic and Laura both abstain. And last but not least, I will accept the motion to approve the November 6th meeting minutes.
Make a motion?
Motion by Brad,
Second.
second by Laura. All in favor? Aye.
Carol abstain.
And Carol abstains. All right, those are approved. Oh, and Dominic also abstains. All right. Next is the case special use permit for a automotive repair shop. So before we get started on the public hearing, I just want to confirm that all the mailers were sent correct for
Yes.
that we have those. Thank you. All right. Before we get started, Ronald, would you mind providing some members of the board were not here, and also the audience, just a very brief overview of your intent of the project?
Yeah, so basically I'm just looking to put up a small automotive shop just for myself, basically to work from home, do my own thing. And that's pretty much it. Just be 2 bays on my father's property. It's an old gravel bank that was pretty much clear cut.
And Laura, these are the documents for that. We talked about signage in prior meetings, as well as Ronald provided this business overview, which we talked about with business plan. I believe the intent is that there's not going to be a public restroom, correct? For
No.
the public, so
No.
it's really just used for automotive.
There's possibly in the future if I build an office, but that wouldn't be the plan right this moment.
And just for the public record, this is at 99 County Route 351 in Brunsonville. Do you have any questions, Laura, or are you all set?
No, looks good.
All right, thank you. So before we start the public hearing, just a few rules. There is a 5-minute time limit if anybody would wish to speak during the public hearing. There's a 1-minute warning at the 4-minute mark. When speaking, please state your name and address for the record, and only speak during your turn. No group discussions, and address comments to the board and not the applicant. And for now, I will accept a motion, to open the public hearing at 7:05 PM.
I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion by Dorothea, second by Dominic, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none. So we are ready for open comment if anybody has any comments.
So do I just address you all from here?
Yeah, just state your name.
Okay,
and-
my name's Thomas Martin. I'm actually the case's closest neighbor. The proposed structure, which is already well under its way, you've been working on it for a couple of months now. Between their home and mine. There is a wetland that marks of my property. There's a 100-foot offset. No construction, no modification requirement. I believe you guys are just right outside of that. That makes this structure very close to my home. Okay. Now I have a couple of things that I would like to read to you guys. First of all, Ron's family, and I was actually under the impression it was your father, sorry. Ron's family and mine have always been friendly, never had any problems with the cases, but I do have some concerns. I didn't even know that this was even a proposition until I got a registered letter, okay? Which took me off guard because Ron and I, your father, have always been on good basis. If I had proposals, I would go talk to him. If he had a proposal, I think he would come talk to me. So I'm quite caught off guard that construction has gone on for so long. You guys have a whole business plan and everything. And I'm just now finding out about this when it is literally 200 yards from my house, okay? I don't know what the business hours are expected to be, the days of the week. I'm not sure what the expected customer base is gonna be. Is it a boutique mod shop? Is it a general repair shop, oil changes, service, diesel, gas? I don't know what conditions or restrictions are gonna be imposed for the special use permit. Due to the nature of the valley between our two homes, I'm assuming you're living with your father, between the two homes, I hear everything going on over there. Good noises, like kids playing in the backyard, dogs barking, whatever. We live in an agricultural community, no problems with that. But what that is also going to include is that what goes on at that shop is going to be even closer and even louder, okay, at my home. So my concern is noise, engines revving, air tools, customer traffic, and I'm curious what would be done to limit that, okay? Will this business be allowed to keep disabled vehicles on the property for salvage, scrap, or storage? We're part of a watershed, and we're all on well water. I'm concerned about the quality of the water after this, The structure is within that 100 feet standoff, okay? And, I'd like to know what assurance products or other chemicals are going to get into the water. There's a big difference between servicing your personal vehicle in that area and servicing providing a commercial service for multiple vehicles. Again, I have no problems with the cases, and their pursuit of happiness and prosperity is their right. And I don't want to interfere with that, but I also don't want their pursuit to impede or impinge upon my freedoms, okay? So in my opinion, this is a dangerous precedence. This special use permit is a request to put an automotive services-based business in an ag zone. I moved here for the peace and room that comes with living in an agricultural community. No one here wants to live next to a services shop. I don't think anyone here would want it to be right next door, okay? So I want some reassurances that my concerns are going to be addressed. I believe that this will have a negative impact not only on my peace and property value, but the special use permit does not really pass the test of history or tradition and should not be granted. Sorry.
Thank you. And just one thing for the public hearings, we don't, respond to public comments, but we will provide from the last meeting, a little bit of information, I think we can, about what process we went through and some information from the business plan. Are there any other public comments? Okay, as part of this review process, we did ask the applicant to mail out certified mailers, notifying the neighbors, and we also posted this in various newspapers to inform the public of this public hearing, and we did not receive any comments in writing, so we can skip that part. This was also referred over to the Albany County Planning Board for recommendation on this. We have not heard back on their public comments. Stated in a prior meeting that was a risk.
Okay.
So we won't be able to take action on approval or denial tonight because we do need that as part of our process. We need this comprehensive review. But we will be able to, do the public hearing tonight. And then at our next meeting, we can make a determination on your application. I'll ask the board if they have any questions for the applicant. In terms of,
What were the hours going to be?
yes, so can I share that during the public hearing?
Yeah, that's fine. And that document is in theory publicly available as part of the project file, so
Yeah.
I didn't catch your name, but the copy of the business plan would be available to you. And that should answer a lot of your
All right,
questions.
I'd appreciate some instruction on how to obtain that. If you guys couldn't actually give me a hard copy now. I mean, I don't see a reason why you couldn't give me a hard copy. I
Right.
am the adjoining neighbor and I have
don't
heard
disagree
nothing
with
about it.
you. How do we give them a hard copy?
I could just make, we could just make a copy if you don't mind waiting. till the end.
I don't mind at all, no.
Okay, so for all special use permits, they first go to our town code enforcer.
Mhm.
And these are evaluated if they are permitted uses in the zoning area. And this is a permitted use in the zoning area, which is agricultural, rural residential, where the property resides. So it came over to the planning board for a special use permit evaluation, and they're seeking approval of this. As part of our process, we go through the special use permit application, find out a bunch of information, and review it against the state environmental quality review form, the seeker. And what that essentially does is it evaluates the impact that this proposed change will have, and if it's acceptable or if it will cause significant impact. And we do that with information on the property, location, zoning, and information provided by the applicant in the business plan. So in terms of the business plan, the proposed application is to open a automotive repair facility. It'll be operated by the applicant with no other full-time employees. The main to repair and service all vehicles within. It includes cars to light trucks. Primary hours of operation will be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, but can be dependent on emergency repairs being requested, which will be offered as needed, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. 7 days a week. From an environmental standpoint, they will maintain compliance with operating as a licensed motor vehicle repair facility and the strict environmental policies and procedures set forth by the EPA and New York State DMV, which includes leak containment and spill control, and MVAC refrigeration licensing, and hazardous material handling. Following these regulations is required and inspected by New York State and will ensure no adverse pollution effects on the environment. The building will be located 200 feet off the main road and over 500 feet from the closest residence. There is an existing tree line that will remain in place to act as a natural visual barrier. The structure will be furnished with vinyl siding, a shingle roof to better blend in with the primary residential community. The driveway is wide and flat to ensure emergency vehicles have clear and easy access. In terms of lighting, signs, and parking, one sign will be placed at the roadside with an overall height of less than 6 feet. The driving parking area will not be lit to avoid unwanted light pollution. The building will have dim lit soffit lighting that is motion activated to provide enough light for safe access only when a person is present. The established parking area will accommodate 23 spaces at the standard 9-foot width per space. And the business will eventually offer a towing service, but will not operate as a salvage yard. Commercial dismantling, scrap vehicle storage will not take place at the facility. Hazardous materials, including waste oil, tires, will be on regular schedule for pickup and disposal to avoid excessive buildup. And that's all part of the business plan, as well as the environmental compliance, pollution prevention, and self-assessment guide for vehicle maintenance shops. And that's the complete file, as well as our environmental impact assessment form. So at this time, if there are no further public comments, I will accept a motion to close the case special use permit public hearing at 7:17 p.m.
Make a motion.
Motion by Carol,
Second.
second by Laura. All in favor? Opposed? None? So as I said, we cannot take action at the next meeting on December 4th. We will be able to take action barring that we do have the meeting. I will be absent, but we're going to talk about logistics after. If that meeting is not on December 4th, it will be the following one, which I believe is on the 18th. And we will be able to take action then, because we do need Albany County Planning Board's review of the application and their comments and recommendation. So at this point in time, that's all that we have tonight for this meeting. I'll ask the board and Andrew if there's anything else that we need to consider.
No, but as you stated, the board needs the Albany County review prior to it being able to take any action. And I think just for the board's benefit, I'll point out that in considering and acting on special use permits, the board is to take into consideration the character of the proposed use and make sure it's compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. And if the board were to identify any potential impacts on the health, safety, or welfare of residents or the neighborhood at large, it may impose reasonable conditions to mitigate those identified impacts. Just something to keep in mind. And sorry, one more thing. With these special use permits, they are conditioned upon compliance with the, we'll get to you, sorry. They are conditioned on compliance with the business plan that would be incorporated into the resolution. And as the board knows, if special use permits fall out of compliance with the identified plan, if a complaint or if a complaint is submitted to the building department, that is investigated and the potential use permit stands to be withdrawn if there is a violation. So that is the enforcement side of things to ensure continual compliance. And as the board might remember, they can be conditioned for a certain period of time where the applicant would have to reaffirm his compliance with the conditions contained within at a standard intervals, 12 to 24 months. Just some points for consideration. And I know you had a question back there.
Yeah, well, who would I talk to about some concerns, even with what you had just said? I mean, obviously, I couldn't really ask you guys because, I mean, all you're doing is just reading the notes, right? And you're waiting on somebody else to tell you whether or not those things are acceptable. Me personally, I think 23 parking spots, that's a lot of parking spots for a small shop. who do I talk to about those if you guys can't necessarily have concerns?
I can't advise you on how to go about it, but if you have additional concerns, I think it would be best before the board if you submit it to them, maybe in a written format. Obviously, the board's not taking any action on it tonight.
Right.
No, the public hearing is closed, but the board can still consider material submitted to it. And your submission would become part of the project file.
Understood.
And the board does consider everything received by it, anything submitted by the applicant or the public, the evidence about the site or compliance with the special use permit standards. And the board does determine whether the application is meeting the standards.
Yeah.
But it is a required referral to Albany County based on its location.
And the referral comes to the planning board from code enforcement.
Right.
To ensure that, it's the pre-screening essentially, to ensure that is an acceptable use. If you don't mind waiting through our next one, we can make a copy of this. for you.
Yes, thank you.
And I'll just check with Vicki to see if there's any other information that we need from you for that copy. All right, so the next item on the agenda is the Centerline Communications Special Use Permit for 780 Pond Hill Road. Could you just share with us a overview of your proposed
Yes,
project?
the scope of work is very simple. AT&T is proposing to install 3 new antennas on the existing tower at the same antenna center line where they currently have antennas and radios and equipment installed. The installation won't increase the height of the tower, and there's nothing going on the ground space that would impact the dimensions of the leased area. That's it.
And for federal,
Yes, under section 6409, yes.
right, so this board might remember this from limited municipal discretion in these. I think the law states, if I'm wrong, that if it isn't, if it's determined to be an eligible facilities request, it shall be approved by this board.
Correct.
So that's essentially it in a nutshell.
Yep, that sums it up.
And it's just a modification or
Yeah.
enhancement to existing. Okay.
Yes, yep, and I mean, part 6409, you can't increase the height of the tower by more than 1 antenna array. I think we're 20 feet, whichever is less. And then as far as the dimensions, you can't expand the fence compound by I think it's more than 30 feet in any given direction. And they're not doing anything on the ground. And these antennas will on the same antenna mount, it's already up on the tower. So they're just gonna add 3 to their array.
Okay. There's some nothing. All right, so this is located at 780 Pond Hill Road. So it looks like we do require just the application fee. We did receive the site visit consent form, the special use permit application, and the seeker, part 1 and part 2, so thank you for that. So the application fee is $750.
Okay.
So that is the only part that's outstanding, but that can be squared up at the next meeting, if that is okay with you.
Yeah, I mean, do you take credit card payments? I pay you over the phone.
I don't know.
I would have brought my card tonight if I had known. I'm not personally paying for it, but
No,
I
yeah.
business card.
I'm unsure. I'll have to ask.
Okay, if not, I can request a check, as long as there's a fee schedule or something that I can pull from your website. I have to have backup documentation to submit a check request.
Yeah, we can speak with Vicki, the town clerk, on
Okay.
that one.
Okay.
She should be able to provide that.
So the next meeting, what's that for? Just,
Well, depending on how far we get tonight,
Okay.
that will kind of dictate what it is, but it could be a public hearing, if all goes well
okay.
with this. So,
I mean, the public hearing.
So our code, this code does require the board to,
Okay,
since it's a special use permit.
Yep.
While keeping it over overseeing federal law on this,
Yep.
and it's in the applicable timeframe.
Yeah, and, you know, AT&T, Verizon, all of them know that, you know, you don't want to try to override the municipalities, you know, what your general code dictates, but still within the parameters of 64.
So prior to reviewing the application, are there any questions based on the proposed documentation that was provided?
No.
All right, so as I said, this is for 780 Ponto Road. This is identified in zoning district RC3. Bordering roads are Ponto Road and Tower Road. The property does not fall within 500 feet of municipal boundary, county highway, state highway, or county or state park recreation area. The property features include an existing 260-foot self-support tower with existing equipment compound. There is an access easement to the site and the existing tower. And the purpose of the project is for commercial. And as the applicant stated, it's to install 3 new antennas on the existing mount of the existing tower. So with that being said, we will move on to the seeker form, part 1. Does the proposed action only involve local law, ordinance, administrative rule, or no? Does the proposed action approval or funding from any other government agency? They selected yes, just the town of Rensselaer Planning Board was identified. Is that okay to say, or can we?
Yeah, that's okay.
The total acreage of the proposed action is less than 0.1 acres that will be disturbed. The land uses that occur on the proposed action are forest and agricultural. Is the proposed action a permitted use under zoning? Yes. Consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan? Yes. Is the proposed action consistent with the predominant character of the existing built or natural landscape? Yes. Is the site of the proposed action located in or does it adjoin to the state listed critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in a substantial increase in traffic above present levels? No. Are the public transportation services available at or near the site of the proposed action? No. Are there any pedestrian accommodation that's available at or near the site of the proposed action? No. Does the proposed action meet or exceed state energy code requirements? Yes. Will the proposed action connect to an existing public or private water supply? No. Will the proposed action connect to an existing wastewater utility? No. Does the project site contain or is it substantially contiguous to a building, archaeological site, or district which is listed on the National or State Historic List of Places determined by the Commissioner of New York State Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation? No. Is the project site or any portion of it located in or adjacent to an area designated as sensitive for archaeological sites? No. Does any part of the proposed action or lands adjoining the proposed action contain wetlands or other water bodies regulated by federal, state, or local agencies? No. Would the or encroach into any existing wetland or water body? The typical habitats of the proposed action are forest and agricultural grasslands. Does the site of the proposed action contain any species of animal or associated habitats listed on the state or federal government as threatened or endangered? No. Is the project located in the 100-year flood plan? No. Will the proposed action create stormwater discharge either from point or non-point sources? No. Does the proposed action include construction or other activities that would result in the impoundment of water or other liquids? No. Has the site of the proposed action or adjoining property been the location of an active or closed solid waste management facility? No. Has the site the proposed action or an adjoining project been the subject of remediation for hazardous waste? No.
I have a question about number 9. It doesn't seem like it should be answered yet, because it says, does it meet or exceed? And then the comment says it will not exceed. You only have to make a comment.
So these it needs to meet, at least meet. So that's normally what we're looking for.
Does it meet or exceed?
So
Meet.
take it, that means it will meet.
It will meet.
And it's
Oh,
required.
and it won't exceed. Okay,
Yep,
thank
it
you.
won't.
Yeah, I get it.
Any other questions on seeker part 1? Okay, I will now accept the motion that the action be classified as unlisted action.
Make a motion?
Motion by Brad, second by Dorothea, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? None, motion carried. All right, I will also accept a motion that the Town of Rensselaerville Planning Board be designated as lead agency.
Motion.
Motion by Dominic,
Second.
second by Carol, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? None, motion carried. Okay, so next we have part 2 of the short environmental assessment form. I will assume no or small impact for these. If we feel otherwise, please interrupt me. There are 11 of them. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with the adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of land? Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of the critical environmental area? Will the proposed action result in adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? Will the proposed action impact existing A, public or private water supplies, B, public or private wastewater treatment utilities? Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, or architectural or aesthetic resources? Will the proposed action result in adverse change in natural resources such as wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora and fauna? Result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flood? And will the proposed action create a hazard to resources or human health? Any questions on part 2 of the seeker form?
No.
So that was guided by the concept of how the response has been reasonable, considering the scale and context of the proposed action. I will now accept the motion that for the reasons stated in the notice of determination of significance, that a negative declaration be made.
Make a motion.
Motion by Laura,
Second?
second by Brad. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? Okay, so, that concludes our review of this. Our next step is to schedule, a public hearing for the Centerline Communications Special Use Permit. So, Claire, do you know, like in terms of
I think it would have to be the 18th.
the 18th?
We would not make it before.
That's what I was concerned about, with like the outside.
Butters and all.
Okay. Before determination on that, would December 18th work for?
Martha won't be there, but.
All
I'll be
right.
filling in. She wants to bring her new baby. I mean, that's.
It's open to the public. So for that process, we would give you the list of butters that,
Okay,
and the notice that needs to be sent to them.
okay.
That's informative of the public hearing. So Vicki and Claire can provide you with that list of butters. And then, prior to that meeting, or at that meeting, we need the list,
Certified.
the certified mailers.
Yep.
Just to prove. that
Oh,
they
yeah.
You know how to do it, okay.
We've done this one before.
All right, so I will now accept a motion to schedule a public hearing for the Centerline Communications Special Use Permit at 780 Pondville Road for 7 PM on December 18th.
Motion.
Motion by Dominic,
Second.
second by Carol, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? None, motion carried. Yeah, so for this application too, we don't have to refer it to Albany County because you are not adjacent to a county road. So we should be able to wrap up that meeting this application at that meeting. So it's either you or your colleague.
It'll be me. I don't see her coming back. Not right away.
No.
You're texting me.
Being said, I will now accept a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make motion.
Motion by Brad, second by Dorothea. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? Motion carried.
Are you involved in the tower that's going on Route 45? Is that what AT&T's on? The antenna's up, but it's not turned on, and I didn't.
I mean, I didn't know what AT&T's new site built. I don't think I have it
Nobody's
down,
on
so
it?
it's probably Verizon.
Verizon.
Possibly T-Mobile, but Verizon's all over the place.
And, I mean, the antenna is less than 3 weeks. Like one day I was driving, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
you know.
I've got one